Hi, I'm Chris Maddock, designer of the Harmony House.
So in the interior finishing stage, many trades will work together. For example, the tile setter, the finishing carpenter, the painter, the cabinet guy, the stair waiting guy, all will work almost all together at the same time in the job site. Therefore, at that moment, coordination is really, really important. How to coordinate that. The plumber have to come in to put the toilet in, and then the tile setter to set the tile. But before the toilet setting in, the painter have to paint the wall behind the toilet. So all this need a lot of coordination. Very interesting.
I'm Tracy Douglas, the interior designer for the Harmony House, and I got involved in the project 2 years ago, and that was through Chris Maddock, who is the architect for the house. And I had known him already because we're both interested in sustainable design. So he approached me and told me about Les and Linda and their property, and it sounded like the perfect thing that I wanted to work on. It was setting high goals for sustainable design, and that's what I was interested in. And I knew since Chris is involved, it's going to be a real green design, you know. So our first meetings were more about the overall design and the overall design guidelines and what we wanted to do for the Harmony House. And so those were things like, you know, the broad strokes where how is the space going to be laid out, what room will be where, you know, very broad strokes, very important, essential fundamentals of the design. And once those, you know, big decisions were made, we had like thousands of smaller strokes, like what are the materials going to be, what's the lighting going to be, the flooring, everything. So it kind of, you start off with the big things, and then we kind of whittled down to the smaller decisions. And as time went on, luckily they went smaller and smaller and smaller because there were literally thousands of decisions to make for this project. So it was good that the big decisions were more in the beginning, and slowly it, you know, it got down to the minutia of all. Yeah, Les and Linda, I'm sure they wouldn't have probably wanted to do a whole lot more than that. So we have two types of flooring in the Harmony House. We've got the wood flooring that's through most of the house, and then we have tile flooring in the entry and the kitchen. And the wood flooring was chosen because it is reclaimed wood, and we looked at many different sources for that, but the clients liked this one because it was a very, you know, clean looking. Some reclaimed wood can have, you know, old screws or nails, and it can be quite a messy look, and they wanted it to be nice and clean looking and uniform. And the tile we use because it's locally manufactured company, Interstyle tile, and it's a mixture of powdered glass and local clay. So it's a you know, the materials that go into it are recycled. And dealing with Interstyle, that was really great because we were with the clients a lot with Interstyle, and we got to see every level of the production of that tile, and it was in a local factory. And we dealt with Robin at Interstyle, and she was great. She was really good with the customer service, and we, you know, we got to go with Les and Linda to the factory, and they got to see, you know, the ingredients that went in the tile. They got a tour of the factory, And just to see, like Leslie and Linda were so interested in the powdered glass and seeing all the tiles just going in the oven and coming out the other end and how they produce it and everything. It was great. It was a very worthwhile experience. So I'm glad that they got to see the factory. And it's a Burnaby-based company. So yeah, that was great for just for them to feel more connected to the material. So I'm sure it has more meaning for them when they see their floor than if they had have just purchased the floor just based on aesthetics, right? So.
Hi, it's Bob Douglas back here again to talk to you today about ventilation. The ventilation requirements for buildings have changed somewhat over the last few years, as today's airtight construction methods require that ventilation air be both controlled and properly distributed throughout the home. Ventilation is simply the exchange of air between the inside and the outside of a building, and proper ventilation is one of the keys to high indoor air quality, and ultimately the health of the occupants of the home. To maximize energy savings and to filter incoming air, a central heat recovery ventilator should be used. Ventilation rates for these types of systems are typically determined by local building code requirements or nationally recognized standards. Be sure to follow building codes and regulations in your area when designing, renovating, or constructing your home.
In the kitchen, we have concrete counters that have an aggregate that's recycled glass, and there are some binders in there, and it was just great that they had recycled content, and it's also locally manufactured on the island. So that's another one where most counters come from very far away places. And lighting was a huge thing for the Harmony House. It was that there were multiple meetings over that. Lighting is complex anyways, but we had so many different, we were working with BC Hydro and we were working with EcoFlex, and EcoFlex had their specifications for the lighting that would work, and there were many, and we had to make it dimmable and work with their system, and so there were many meetings over that, and so we ended up working with Canlyte because they generally do more commercial projects, but they were interested in the Harmony House, so they gave us a great deal. And so I worked with Pamela of Canlyte, and we got to choosing the lights based on all this criteria that we had. So we had to sit for many hours, she and I, just looking through catalogs. Will this light work? No. Will that light work? Maybe. Will this light work? And then we'd have to consult with EcoFlex and see, does it work for you? If it works for you, then we'll choose it, and then we'll show the client, and then if the client approves, great. So it was quite interesting, because I love lighting, but it is definitely highly detail oriented. So so she was great. She really helped out with finding some great fixtures to choose from. So not only did we reduce the energy output of the lighting for the Harmony House, but we also wanted to keep it, visually appealing, because a big part of sustainable design in my mind is that it should still be beautiful, because if it's not, then you're just going to want to renovate it soon, and then it's not very sustainable anymore. So so just chose very, simple, clean line lighting, but something that was elegant and sophisticated, and still met all that criteria.
When choosing your plumbing fixtures, look for low-flow shower heads and faucet aerators. These products will not only save water, but also the energy needed to pump the water to your home. Look for paints, cabinets, and floor coverings that are ecologically certified and have zero volatile organic compounds, often referred to as VOCs. Products with no VOCs are easier on the environment and help to make your home a healthier place to live.
So the plumbing fixtures that were used for the Harmony House were a bit of a challenge because plumbing fixtures are generally not recycled, and they don't usually have recycled content, and they're not locally manufactured. And so how do you make it a sustainable product? It was sort of hard to find something, but and also we needed to use a kind of a big company because they'd have to be able to afford to sponsor. So we ended up using Kohler, and we chose their cast iron series. So there's cast iron tubs, the cast iron sinks, even the kitchen sink. And we went with that because it's highly durable, which was another one of the design criteria. And another thing is that it's recycled content, which was really hard to find in fixtures. So it was the only company that had 87% recycled content. And just highly durable, like you can't really, it's hard to chip it or do damage to it. They had the dual flush toilets, and so that was great. It worked well. For the finishes in the house, we used Benjamin Moore paint, and we used it because it's the Natura line, and it's 0 VOCs are released into the atmosphere, so we wanted to make sure the clients aren't going to be polluted in their own home, so that was a perfect product to use. Yeah, working with Samsung was fantastic. It was a great experience, and it was just nice to see a big company like that get so excited about a residential project like the Harmony House, and they were really involved, and we had great customer service, and the efficiency of the appliances was just exactly what we were looking for, and many other features were just very convenient for the clients as well. So it was a great relationship was formed there. And we also got to go to a showcase where Les and Linda and I, went off to New West, and they had a showcase there so that they could meet their appliances before they made the final decision, which is very important because it had to work for them. We had to make sure everything would work for them. And so we got to look at every single one, and somebody explained all the features to us of every single item. And at the end, I know that they felt much better about it because they knew, it's not abstract. It's not just all these features. I've actually seen it. I know how it works. I know how it operates. I know the energy efficiency that's involved and how it will help me in my day-to-day functioning in the house. So that was really important, just product knowledge. Okay, so we're good. I think we went over everything.
I think that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
How do you guys feel about it? How's it looking?
This is looking
Looking very fancy for
unimaginable detail. That's great.
Yeah,
there's
there's
a lot of detail for you thought it's something simple.
That's good.